Okay. So again, for introductions, I'm the housing coordinator at Highest, Pennsylvania. So I am the person between all of our clients and our landlord partners whenever we are in need of housing, and then any follow up afterwards. While we are getting started, I wanted to mention a recent bill that was passed here in Pennsylvania, known as the Whole Homes Repair Act. So this is a great opportunity for a lot of small landlords. I believe the threshold is owning 15 or less properties, um, 15 or less units. And this is a bipartisan bill here in Pennsylvania that can provide financial support for major repairs. I know a lot of our small landlords that we work with sometimes need a little bit of assistance with their maintenance or any sort of repairs that are needed to get the house ready for rentals. I believe that the applications will be opening soon in the summertime. Um, and you can follow that link below, Whole Homes Repairs, um, to get more information. I wanted to start with a quick poll, which I will share the link below in the chat. This is just to gauge if people have worked with resettlement agencies before, what their interest levels are. So I will share that. I will share that link below. Well, as I'm sharing, I'm having trouble finding the chat, so I will just do this as we are waiting. So if you could please just take a few minutes just to fill out this brief 3-question survey, and then we will get started. Okay, let me know if it works now.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I think you might need to, regenerate the link or make sure it's on collect responses setting
Okay.
too. Yeah.
Let's try this one. Okay, that is really strange. We had this working just half an hour ago. Um, so I think we can just skip this the poll for now. Um, so now I wanted to go over the a brief overview of the refugee resettlement process. I think there is a lot of information out there that some may be true, some may not be true. So I'd like to go into this process. So as a refugee resettlement overview, refugees are defined legally by the UN as people who are fleeing war, violence, or persecution in their home country. Many times they flee to what is known as a third country, and there their case is referred to a resettlement support center. And this is where they go through the overseas processing. This is extensive background checks, medical checks, validating their claims for refugee status. And after this extensive multi-year vetting and clearance process, cases are approved to travel and referred to a local resettlement agency. They are often referred to a local resettlement agency based on where existing communities exist, if they have family members or friends that are already in the United States. That's how it is decided generally what city they go to. From there, refugees arrive fully authorized to live and work in the United States. They have work authorization from day one, and are able to live their lives just as anyone else from their first day here in the U.S. They are on a path to citizenship. Most refugees are eligible for their green card after 1 year of living in the United States, and then citizenship after 5 years. They are eligible for health insurance and other public benefits from day one. The case managers enroll them in these programs. An example would be EBT, SNAP, so that before they start working, they are able to buy groceries at the store. During this time, they are also enrolled in refugee resettlement programs, such as the one here at Highest Pennsylvania, that I will go into detail, and also other ones such as Nationality Service Center, Bethany, and Catholic Social Services. The role of refugee resettlement programs is to provide housing and other basic needs, such as furniture, groceries, etc., enroll in employment services, connect with medical services, English language classes, other education services, and importantly, to conduct workshops on life here in the United States. A lot of our clients are coming from, they're all coming from different countries and different backgrounds. So we conduct extensive workshops and orientations just to make sure that they are ready and set up for success here in the United States and Philadelphia specifically. But that's the whole program in a very, very brief nutshell. Now we'll go more in depth to the housing process. So this is from the time that we at our organization find out who is coming and when they're coming to when they are paying rent on their own. A lot of landlords could be hesitant to rent through resettlement agencies. So I would like to first address some common myths that I have heard, and then through the rest of the presentation, we will answer a lot of these questions. So common myths and misconceptions that I have heard is that renting in partnership with a resettlement agency is a cumbersome process. A lot of people think of it as similar to Section 8, where there are really extensive extensive screenings and interviews and checks and a long process. That is not the case with refugee resettlement. And I'll go into that later. Many landlords may be worried that after a client moves into their unit, that they are left to themselves and there is no communication or follow-up. That is the purpose of my job and my colleague Abadullah's job as well, to be that intermediary. If there's ever any issues, we are always there to answer any questions. And then finally, since there is no credit or employment history available in the United States for a lot of our clients, since this is the first time that they have been in the United States, landlords have no idea or have no way to know who is moving into their properties. This is generally not true, as they go through a lot of extensive background checks prior to coming into the US. And as it comes to income and paying rent on their own, I will explain shortly how that process works as well. So first, this is just how we find out who is coming and when they are coming. We receive case information from our National Refugee Resettlement Agency. We are Highest Pennsylvania. We have Highest National, also known as Highest Inc. They're based in Silver Spring, Maryland. And they send us our information roughly 1 month prior to when a family is going to arrive. I've seen it be much shorter and I've seen it be much longer, but a month is generally a good timeline. So once we know the family that's coming, we are going to look specifically at which neighborhoods will ensure successful resettlement. This is based off of a lot of factors. Oftentimes the first factor is if they have friends or family here in the United States, which when we get our case information, that information is provided. We oftentimes try to find housing nearby. This way, it's easier for them to see family and friends that they have not seen for a very long time and get used to and accustomed to living in the US quicker. Otherwise, we are searching in neighborhoods that have similar communities. So for example, if we know that there's an Afghan community in a certain part of the city and we receive an Afghan family, that's generally where we're going to be looking. And then other factors obviously are affordability and things along those natures. Generally, we are looking for housing in Northeast Philadelphia, and I say Northeast Philadelphia being very broadly all the way down, at the bottom of Oxford Circle, Lawn Crest, all the way up to Ben Salem, the entirety of the Northeast, South Philadelphia. Those are our two most common. And then we're seeing an increased interest in both Southwest Philly and Upper Darby. So we're really trying to expand our connections in those areas as well. Once we narrow it down to a neighborhood, a section of the city that we're looking, somebody, typically myself or Abdullah, will be calling landlords that we have worked with, along with sometimes searching on Zillow and websites like that to find a unit that we are interested in. And once we hear about that unit, we will meet with the landlord or the property manager at that apartment and do a brief tour of the home or apartment. We're generally not checking for the most modern updates and a lot of aesthetic issues. We're really looking for major safety issues. Making sure that the appliances, the lights work, that there's no signs of water damage, mold, pest infestation, things along those lines that would really inhibit a comfortable lifestyle. And then once we view the apartment, we decide that it is what we want to take. We will review all of the move-in costs and confirm which utilities are going to be the tenant's responsibility and all those fine details. So if the family or single individuals we work with a lot has already arrived, we can have them, we'll go over the lease and have them sign the lease prior or upon move-in. but there are times that we are trying to find housing before our clients arrive. So before they arrive, we on our end obviously are getting the move-in costs ready, which typically are first, last security. We'll hand that to the landlord, and we'll need to have access to the apartment a couple days early, before our clients are moving in, just so we can get the furniture in. We also provide all of the household goods, bedding, towels, kitchen supplies, trash bags, cleaning supplies, dishes, so that when our clients arrive, they can be welcomed into a home that is ready to go from day one. And then once the family moves in, myself or my coworker, we will meet with the client. We'll go over any housing concerns. We'll go over the lease. We often will be using interpretation services for this, which I'll get into a little bit later, but we have interpretation for every language and population that we work with. And this is, really to make sure that they understand all of their rights and responsibilities here as tenants in the United States and in Philadelphia. And then post move-in, and this is to address one of those misconceptions that I spoke about earlier. So after our client moves in, the lease is signed, the move-in cost check is handed over. We are still working with our clients very closely. Us on the housing team are generally the only people that landlords and property managers interact with, but there is a whole team that is still working with each of those families. Clients are assisted in transferring utilities into their name, and immediately being enrolled in low-income assistance programs. One thing is, so our clients are eligible to work and live in the United States from day one, but due to certain parts of the government being slower than we would like, the Social Security cards sometimes take up to a month to arrive. So we will oftentimes turn PICO on in Hyas's name, in our company's name, while we are waiting for our clients to get their Social Security cards. The housing staff conducts multiple workshops so that clients understand their leases and rights and responsibilities as tenants. When we go over the lease, even with interpretation, and kind of like this presentation as well, it's a lot of information in a very short period of time. So we make sure that we come back, usually three to 4 weeks later, after they moved in and signed the lease, just to go over those the most important information again. Such as the rights and responsibilities as tenants and who to communicate for which issue. And during this time, after they've moved in, and sometimes before they've moved in, they are enrolled in employment programs to find work near their housing, and work that matches their skills. So next is the employment program. I think this is not directly about housing, but I think it's very important for a lot of our landlords to understand. So within the first 30 days upon arrival, all of our clients are assessed, and over 90%, 95% are enrolled in employment programs. The employment case managers assist clients in building resumes and finding potential jobs that tailor to their skills. A lot of our clients come from very, very ranging backgrounds of experiences. So it's important that our case managers are working with them to learn about what their skills were and what their skills are and how best to apply that here in the United States. And case managers are also conducting important orientations about working in the United States and retaining work, such as proper professional etiquette, etc. These programs usually last 6 to 8 months after arrival, that they are working in the employment program. Even after they find their first job, the case manager is still working with them to make sure that they retain that job. They have any questions in a similar way that I am and have been a communication between our clients and landlords. Um, the employment case managers are kind of a liaison between employers and our clients. While our clients are enrolled in the employment program, there are additional rent support that can be provided throughout the entirety of the program. One thing that I want to make very clear is that we will not leave our clients, in a position where they're not going to be able to afford rent. That is a very important aspect of my job in both when I get the case information, we are able to see the amount of employable adults. We get a rough understanding of what their earning potential would be, et cetera. And we find units that we know that they will be able to afford. And then the employment program, along with other programs at Highest that I will go over, will make sure that they are in a position to pay their rent once that time comes. Over 90% of our clients find work within the first few months of enrollment. And the average pay ranges from $16 to $20 per hour. And we have had many clients earning much more than that. We have partnerships with various different employers, ranging from warehouse work to hotel work to pharmaceutical work to IT. The list goes on. And then beyond that, obviously housing and employment are very important, are important aspects of starting a new life here in the United States. But there are other programs that our clients have the opportunity to be enrolled in. So additional client support. So clients are enrolled in ESL, depending on their English language proficiency, within the first 30 days. We have levels from 1, 2, 3, and 4 from folks who know little to no English at the moment to people who are just trying to work on their fluency and conversational English. Anyone who has any outstanding health concerns can be enrolled in our IWP program, the Immigrant Health and Wellness Program, to help them navigate the complex medical system, which even myself can be difficult to understand. As for education, once we have housing confirmed, and this is why it's pretty important for us to try to find housing before our clients arrive. The kids can be enrolled in the local school. We also have higher education options, such as partnerships with the Community College of Philadelphia for a lot of our clients who might arrive and are who have aged out of high school and want to continue their educational career. We also have a new program that was started up in the past year or so, known as the Refugee Career Pathways. So the employment program that I was mentioning earlier, it is really about finding the first job that's available that will be able to help them pay their rent and pay all of their expenses. However, we found that we have seen a lot of clients that are very, very highly educated, very highly skilled, but maybe their degrees don't transfer, or they need a little bit of help in navigating finding more professional work. So while they're trying to find the job to make ends meet, we are also working with a lot of our clients in really tailoring the resume and job search to the skills that they have brought with them. And that is the basic rundown of the resettlement process. During that time, Clients are enrolled in all of these programs, especially during the first 90 days. Someone is communicating with them almost every day. People are, whether myself or their case manager, are visiting the apartment that they live in, oftentimes maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks. So we are always a point of contact to make sure that everything is going smoothly. And then from there, I would like to introduce Harry Hua, who has been a landlord that we have worked with I have had the privilege to work with him for 2 years at this role, and he has worked with Hyas for about 4 years. So if he would like to speak just about his experience and how it's been, welcome, Harry. Harry, I think you're on mute.
Uh, okay, okay now.
Yes, yes.
Okay, yeah, thanks for having me here, Angel. Yeah, I'm Harry, and the landlord in the Sunrise Unity Group, and we have some property in the South Villa and some Northeast. So we've been work with the highest been over for 5 years, and we find that a very good experience, and love to continue for helping the refugee, because I'm the refugees also in the last 35 years. That's why I know how the refugee come and how they need it and to be settlement. So we are love to be here.
Thank you, Harry. And how has the experience been overall, from when clients have moved in to during that process when we're paying for the rent, and then after after our financial support ends?
Yeah, yeah, we learned that most of the refugee tenants they will follow up the rule and continue after even the highest agent help them for a few months, and even after a year the lease, and they still continue stay there, and because they love, and then we always help them any problem they needed, and they just pay on time, and also highest also follow them and give them support, anything, we need, some of the tenants, they don't speak English good, so we be, looking for interpreter, but we are very get along with, and now we understand, we have very good relationship. So we love, to help, refugees, and they're very good, nice person,
Thank you, Harry. And that's one thing that I also wanted to mention. I know for a lot of landlords, turnover can be a big concern, right? You sign the lease for a year, but I think we can all agree you want someone to stay for more than a year. And a lot of our clients who've had so much turmoil over over what could have been decades, once they find and are placed in an apartment that is in good condition, in a neighborhood that they like, and at a rate that they can afford, they tend to stay. They tend to renew their leases, or continue for months or potentially years afterwards, because stability is something that is very important for all of us.
Yes, I'm agree, definitely, yeah, and that's why so yeah, most of 80% of our tenants are refugee and refer from highest treasury, and we just understand what they needed and helping them. So we're looking forward to helping them in the future.
Thank you very much, Harry.
Thank you.
So I will stop sharing my screen. And actually I'll keep this up. And I wanted to save some time. We went through a lot of information for anybody in the audience to chime in, ask any questions, both for myself, for my coworker Abdullah, or for Harry if he wants to answer as well. And I can't see the chat, so Abdullah, if you can ask any of the questions that are shown, if they come in there. Oh, I see Robin raised a hand.
Yes, I can read one of the questions was, what size units are most common?
That's a really good question. It really depends on the family sizes that we get. I think most common would be 2 bedrooms, 2-bedroom apartments, and then 3 bedrooms as well. Those are the most 2 common. Sometimes 1 bedrooms, and then very rarely 4 bedrooms. Usually 2 to 3.
And then a question I had was, you mentioned like 4 different neighborhoods where you generally rent from. Do you make any exceptions to that rule, or if there's a landlord that wants to be like very involved and supportive?
Yes, I mean, that's not as much of a rule as that, just generally where we're looking.
Okay.
I mean, we do have times if someone might reach out to us, I'm just throwing out, like in Manayunk, right, for example, and the family that we're working with has a direct family member in Mayfair. We would still primarily be searching in the Mayfair neighborhood, just because that's where the family and the communities are.
Mhm.
But we do go beyond those neighborhoods of Northeast, South, Southwest, and Upper Darby. For example, right now we're conducting a housing search in like the Norristown, East Norriton area. So it can range pretty widely.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Andrew, this is Janine. I think my mic's working now. How much lead time do you get when you're looking for housing?
Usually about 1 month.
Okay.
That time can also vary. We've had arrivals, and this is actually something that is pretty important to mention as well. We have had arrivals come with less than a week of notice. But in those cases, we do have temporary housing options. We have partners with some temporary hosts, such as a church on Broad Street that has available rooms, and we have we're able to pay for Airbnbs for a few weeks. But generally, it's about 1 month notice.
Do you have a preference for whether it be an apartment or something with a backyard, or it doesn't matter?
Yeah, it really depends on the family size. For smaller families, we're really, and for single individuals, we're really looking for a lot of apartments, because they don't need as much space, and they generally come out to be more affordable. But obviously, we not too long ago had a family of 7 people, and they need a full house, right? They need much more space. And if they have kids and there's a yard available, something along that line, all the better.
Is there a guideline for what the rent would be for let's say a 2-bedroom if, you know,
Yes.
family four or whatever, what are the guidelines for individuals through families for rent?
Mhm. So I'll go by and again these numbers can be flexible depending on right. One of the examples I use is at the same time we had one family of six that only had one employable adult versus another family of six that had four employable adults. So these ranges can these rents can range pretty extensively. But generally for one bedroom apartments, we're looking for a rent around $1,000, 1,100 even. Two bedroom apartments, we're looking at like 1,200, 1,300. And then the three bedrooms and above, that's where you really see the biggest range. You know, sometimes we're looking for places around 1,300, other times we can go up to 18, 1,900. I would say on average for a three bedroom house or a larger three bedroom apartment, they tend to be 1,500, give or take.
That's helpful. Thank you. What is your biggest pain point for finding these units?
Ooh, that is a good question. The biggest pain point. I think in busy times like right now, you know, I was preparing for this meeting before, but Ebadullah was actually viewing an apartment. It can be matching up an apartment or a house for a family while before they arrive, and really trying to match. You know, we have all this information. You know, we have, if I'm not mistaken, and Evadullah, please correct me, 4 different families right now that we're searching for 2-bedroom apartments in the Northeast. So once we find a 2-bedroom that's available, how do I decide? Okay, we have 4 families, which one should go there? And then another pain point, which I think everybody knows, is rising rent. That's happening both here in Philadelphia and nationwide for a variety of reasons. And you know, we want to make sure that we set our clients up for success, and that they're able to save money once they start working and not have to put all of their income to their expenses. So that is definitely another challenge currently.
Do you offer a checklist of things that you really want a renter, a landlord, property manager, or property owner to provide?
Um, can you clarify what you mean?
Well,
By
I mean,
checklist?
just even you know, obviously we need the kitchen, a stove and a working refrigerator, but things like, you know, blinds on the windows, you know,
Mm.
is there actually a checklist that they can go down to the details so that when you come in and do your inspection, or, you know, the landlord knows, you know, basically what you'll be looking at?
Yeah, I mean, there isn't a specific checklist. Um, I mean, there are the basic important necessities, right? Such as a stove or refrigerator, working heat, working water, you know, an apartment that's clean, and in, you know, in decent condition. As for things like blinds, um, I mean, we do ask that for our clients to have privacy, but that's something that, and we have more like drapes and shades in our storage unit, that we have provided to households as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And yeah, and generally, if it, you know, if a lot of it is passing the smell test, right? Like, is this unit in good condition? Would you live there? Then yes, it's what we're looking for. Okay. So if there are not any other questions, maybe I can see if I can get the next survey to work. Yeah. Okay. So let me know if this works. This is just to gauge the interest after this event, if you learned any information, if you have any other questions, etc.
It seems to be working.
Oh, awesome. And then while people are filling out this survey, I also wanted to put my contact information in the chat. So if anybody maybe, thinks of a question afterwards, or would like to work with us, you can always reach out to me on email, and I will get back to you as quick as possible. Thank you, Tiffany. And then I will also put my colleagues' information in. Okay, so yeah, you can feel free to reach out to us, and then also I'll share again. Thank you, Gwen. I'll briefly share my screen again in case if you would like to take down the contact information. Thank you, Harry. Appreciate the kind words. If you would like to take down the information of the other resettlement agencies here in Philadelphia. Thank you, Amy. And I wanted to thank everybody for attending, and thank you, Harry, for speaking at this event. And I hope everybody has a great weekend. I've been looking out the window a little bit. The sun is shining. So hope everyone is able to enjoy that. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you very much.
And Abdul, just gonna stay on for a minute.
Have a great weekend, everyone.
Thank you.